So I just came out of the new James Gunn Superman movie, and this movie is actually pretty good, but there are definitely some issues that we're gonna dive into. Superman feels like James Gunn was really trying to go back to the roots of superhero movies while adding some modern elements. And by modern elements, I don't mean political messaging. This is just a superhero movie, plain and simple. The action scenes are entertaining, the dialogue is mostly good, the villain's motivations are simple and clear, the characters are well written, the acting is great, and the comedy can actually be funny at times. David Corenswet does a very admirable job really embodying the optimistic, genuine, morally grounded nature of Superman while bringing a depth to the character's emotions when his morality is challenged. Rachel Brosnahan also does a great job playing a charismatic and intellectual Lois Lane with a bright and energetic presence. She's also a very well-written female character, which for some reason has been a struggle for superhero projects lately. You also have Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, who really brings a sinister and powerful energy to the cold, calculating tech genius. Let's just say this is a big step up in terms of acting and writing quality since Jesse Eisenberg played him in Batman and Superman.
Ahoy, ahoy! I did not know you were here.
The movie also manages to make Superman's dog Krypto a cute addition to the movie without it being cringy and off-putting. Nathan Fillion and Edi Gathegi also do a great job bringing a lot of character and life to Green Lantern and Mr. Terrific. Unfortunately though, we got to see way too little of Green Lantern in this movie, but Mr. Terrific got some pretty badass fight scenes. Same thing with Isabella Merced, who does very little as Hawkgirl with a small handful of lines. Overall though, you really can't complain from an acting standpoint about this movie. To some people, the main message and theme of the film may seem cliche, but it's the exact message that defines superheroes to begin with, so it feels pretty fitting for a Superman movie. That message, of course, being who you choose to be and the actions you decide to take are what really define you instead of your parents or destiny or anything like that.
With great power comes great responsibility.
It's a good message and theme that's explored pretty well throughout the movie. There were also some really excellent emotional moments, particularly one near the end between Clark and John Kent. This movie really had some nice elements to it that lent to a nostalgic and entertaining film. With all that being said though, I still have a few complaints. The biggest one being that this movie feels very rushed and has way too much going on. We go from action scene to action scene barely coming up for air, allowing very little character development to actually take place. They also have way too many characters in this movie and you barely get to know anything about them. What's really frustrating is that they could have introduced the Justice Gang as small cameos toward the end and cut out so much of the chaos. That way they can set things up for maybe a Justice Gang TV show or something like that. The other big complaint I have is about the tonal whiplash this movie puts you through over the course of 2 hours. There's a particular scene with a serious conversation going on between Superman and Lois while a giant CGI battle goes on in the background for laughs. It becomes a running theme throughout the movie to subvert emotional and poignant moments for the sake of jokes. They'll go from dark, serious, and sophisticated to the signature goofy, borderline farcical James Gunn humor that's stamped across the whole movie. This is definitely a big complaint with other reviewers who feel like the James Gunn humor doesn't really fit Superman, and I gotta agree with them. There were definitely some funny moments in the movie that made me laugh, but it always felt like you're watching a James Gunn movie more so than a Superman movie. If you love James Gunn humor and filming style, then you'll love this movie, but if you're looking for a return to Superman's roots, this one doesn't quite fully get there. The story is also pretty run-of-the-mill with your classic, cliche supervillain motivations that feel kinda underbaked. This movie definitely had the potential to be great, but it ended up just being a good movie, which is not quite the return to glory that DC needed from this film. If you're looking for some fun summer entertainment though, this was definitely a good movie that I think both kids and adults can enjoy. Like I mentioned earlier, Superman feels like DC's trying to go back to the basics of what makes superhero movies good. They clearly put time and effort into respecting the source material and paying homage to the Superman movies that came before. The costume, the set design, the full orchestra Superman theme, the classic evil villain, it all had a somewhat nostalgic feel, but you also had endless CGI battles and tonal whiplash. Suffice it to say that James Gunn Superman isn't quite the North Star for superhero projects that I was hoping it would end up being. It kinda goes without saying that the current formula for superhero projects is getting stale and repetitive. DC has been in this era of making dark, gritty superhero/anti-hero movies ever since The Dark Knight became a cultural phenomenon, and Marvel is, Well, I don't have to explain the state of Marvel right now.
Not never. Period. Mm-hmm. Period.
Period. Period. Period. Period. Period. Period. Period. Period. Period.
I don't know if this Superman movie alone is enough to really course correct for DC, but I think it can be a start. There was a lot hinging on this movie for DC's future, and whether or not the movie was a perfect Superman movie matters less than how much the audiences like it, and so far it's getting excellent audience scores across the board. I hope they don't have James Gunn direct every big movie and TV show though, because it'd be a shame for this to just turn into the James Gunn universe and not the DC universe. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.